Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about a Justice League Unlimited issue 5 by Mark Waid, Dan Mora and Tamara Bonvillain. The mysterious organization Inferno is finally revealed this issue, as after many attacks, they have seemingly disappeared and the heroes are back to their everyday jobs, this time protecting the annual G20 summit in Australia. Impulse finds himself bored out of his mind just standing around waiting for something to happen. The Flash tells him that they are there to guard the gathering presidents, kings, queens, and delegates in case Inferno rear their ugly head again. Waid yet again employs the idea of a different league roster each issue really well here, revealing that the heroes who have super speed or near super speed are all there at the G20 summit because they'll be able to act quickly should something happen. Then they also have the added muscle of Green Lantern, Thunderlord, Star Sapphire, Supergirl, and Wonder Woman to boot. Flash and Impulse's introduction to Thunderlord is soon put on hold, as suddenly heroes along with the G20 delegates are all teleported away to some alien dimension where they are attacked by monsters. 30 minutes later, Mr. Terrific fills Tornado in on what's going on, deploying a follow-up team to find out what happened. Tornado is all over it already, having turned up nothing, and currently the world's economies are in freefall, and the nations are all accusing one another of being behind this. So if it isn't very obvious already, this is again Inferno doing as they have done so far to destabilize the world's governments, industries, and as of last issue, the Green itself. However, to what end, we still don't really know. It's obviously some sort of world domination plot, but it's never been really made clear what they are doing. Terrific knows they need help, calling in Superman. Man of Steel and a few other heroes are busy fighting one of the members of Inferno in Japan, as they are trying to destroy the world's largest nuclear reactor. Mr. Terrific can't spare any help for his friend, as other heroes are dealing with Three Gorges Dam, which has all but dried up, eliminating the world's biggest source of hydropower, further plunging the world into chaos. So last issue we saw what seemed like Dr. Occult dying from meeting Inferno. He went through a portal, he met them, and they sent the hero back on fire, like threw him back into Earth on fire. But Mr. Terrific makes sure to say that he survived his wounds and he's just in a coma, which I'm glad for, since he had a really interesting dynamic with Martian Manhunter, these two detective characters teaming together, characters who weren't Batman either. So it was really fun seeing their little dynamic and realizing that they are very similar in a lot of ways. So I'd like to see them get the chance to team back up again as well. He tells Airwave, who is there to assist Terrific if he needs it, that Inferno called the League their old foes, which means they are probably the Legion of Doom. Although Michael knows that Lex Luthor currently has none of his memories, Sinestro just rejoined the Green Lantern Corps, and the Joker is nowhere near any of the Inferno strike zones, and every other villain who has ever been on the Legion has been accounted for. Mr. Terrific immediately turning to the Legion as the culprits is something I'm glad happened, and wasn't something that was drawn out. Like, he got that one bit of info from Dr. Occult that the villains called them their old foes or their old friends, and immediately picked up on, oh, it's the Legion doing all of this. It wasn't some long drawn out plot. And the added caveat is that most of the Legion now are either reformed or, not interested in joining the Legion again, and they're all accounted for. And that's pretty cool too, since it means the heroes are left unsure if it really is them. Is it someone pretending to be them? Like, what is it? It makes them unsure, even though they know this is kind of Legion MO. In the Atom Project lab, Batman asks if Ray Palmer and the Atom Project can help find Martian Manhunter's powers quickly. But Ray reminds Batman that their project is still in its infancy phase. Finding powers right now is just kind of a fluke. He still agrees all the same to help, as elsewhere, the heroes who were teleported away battle vicious monsters and try and keep the world's delegates safe inside Green Lantern and Star Sapphire's bubble shields. Again, great use of all of the heroes' powers. We got the Flashes ferrying people to safety, the Lanterns using their constructs as shields, and Wonder Woman, Thunderlord, and Supergirl acting as heavies, fending off the monsters. On top of the monsters though, the League also faced problems with some of the delegates who refused to listen to the heroes give them orders. And I think this is something that probably should have been brought up a little bit more, since it's quite interesting, since while these heroes are definitely saving these people, from certain death, you still have these human delegates from all these different countries refusing to let, what I guess is meant to be oh, these are American heroes. Kind of boss them around or give them orders, and a lot of the time they refuse to let that happen. And I thought that was quite interesting. Like, even in the face of death, they're still very bullheaded and foolish not to listen to, Green Lantern when he says, get behind the shield. I do wish there was a little bit more than just these couple of lines here, since that's quite an interesting take. Like, how do you even, deal with someone like that in this sort of situation? While the Lanterns keep the delegates from being killed, Flash tries to figure out where they are and how they get home. Unable to actually focus though, because there's a ringing in his head, almost like something is blocking his mind from being able to think a solid thought. Team's defense doesn't last long as Hal is stabbed in the ring arm by a monster, forcing Flash to take a more leadership role in the team and order Carol to create bigger, larger shields around them as Wonder Woman gathers the delegates together. I really like that it was Flash that took the lead here and was the leader for a change, since usually you'd think, oh, Wonder Woman's on the team, she'll just take over, she's like the leader of the team. But I like that it's Flash, quick thinking, he can move really fast, you need a person like that to change things on the go, and that's exactly what he does here, and it makes a good leader. He's never really been the leader of the Justice League, so it's cool that he gets to step up into that role. During all of this, Impulse ends up just getting in the way, so he's told by Flash just to wait to the side and not get in the way of the other heroes doing their jobs. Now I kind of wish this focused on it a bit better, with Bart not really being a team player or unable to work with other heroes well, thanks to his always on the move nature, and he always has to be doing something and not be bored, more or less. Because Bart is left alone, he finds one of the delegates out on their own somewhere, noticing something is off with the man. He grabs him and confronts him, having seen him do something. While he interrogates the man, the Atom reveals they have a reading on where John's powers might be, the African jungle, and whomever has them is traveling with them, until they suddenly went off the radar. Bart meanwhile accuses the delegate of being with Inferno, having caught him being so calm during all of this, along with his cartoonishly evil smile. Batman meanwhile, ever the detective, asks when Ray lost track of the powers, finding that it was exactly the same time the League and the G20 summit disappeared. This slow building reveal to who the delegate is done really well by Wade, since it ends with him not actually stating who it is. However, if you are familiar with comics and certain villains, certain maybe gorilla-themed villains, you know exactly who it is. He does it in a really great callback to the character being mistaken for God, but it's not God, it's someone else. The villain uses Manhunter's powers to wipe Impulse's mind of his identity, making him see the Inferno member as just a normal guy, a normal delegate. Batman realizes that one of the delegates was a plant and behind the kidnapping, rushing to help the other heroes find their friends, as Flash realizes vibrations will help them escape, since he'll be able to vibrate the entire group and slide them into a dimension next to the one they're in. He vibrates his body at super speed, pushing through into a white void of a dimension that he's never seen before and hopes someone in the team has. Luckily, Supergirl has, since they are in the Phantom Zone now, and she knows how to get out, exploding out of the Phantom Zone prison gate within the Justice League Watchtower. So my first thought here is how all the criminals are not going to escape now. The door to their prison is gone, so now they're just going to flood out. But Wade meets us off at the pass here and is sure to have Supergirl and the other heroes quickly reseal the gateway, lest any supervillains escape. As Impulse takes Hal to the medbay for his injuries, Batman and the others arrive, using Atom's technology to find the delegate who wiped Impulse's mind with Manhunter's powers, cornering him in the room with the power swap device. Finally, Airwave's chance arrives and he is told by a voice to honor his bargain, as the delegate is revealed to be Gorilla Grodd, who Airwave teleports away with, revealing himself to the shocked heroes that he has been working not just for Grodd, for the Legion of Doom, who were acting as Inferno this entire time, deciding now that it's time to go full mask off and launch their attack on the Justice League. So this is interesting for multiple reasons. Now first, Grodd has Martian Manhunter's powers, which is really quite cool and incredibly terrifying. He was already a pretty formidable telepath already, and now he's got Manhunter's powers, and obviously just heightens his abilities tenfold. So I'm hoping Wade gets a chance to explore that a villain has a good guy's powers now and how he's going to use them for better or worse. The second one is, how is it the Legion, since obviously at the start of the issue it was said that, Lex is kind of a good guy right now, Joker is off doing Hush 2 related crap over in the Batman ongoing, Sinestro is a good guy in Green Lantern Corps. So there's like all these characters who should be part of the Legion and who are in this final page, but they're good guys at the moment or doing something else. So how is the Legion here? And obviously this is tying into Mark Waid's big event series. I think it's like 6 parts or something across the summer called We Are Yesterday. And it's involving time travel because it's tied in with his World's Finest book, which actually takes place in the past. And my theory, and I guess it's kind of a confirmation that this is obviously a Legion of Doom from earlier in the timeline when they were all villains and they've come to the future in order to attack the League when they're probably at their most vulnerablest, or like at a point where they're easily attackable. I do like that Waid doesn't spell it out for us here. He just kind of leaves you with like, yeah, it's the Legion of Doom, but which Legion of Doom? So I'm really excited to see what he has in store for us. Justice League Unlimited issue 5 revealed a hell of a lot of info on the villains, who they are, and what their endgame might be. It was fairly obvious that Inferno was the Legion of Doom, though I like that Mark Waid never made it a big earth-shattering reveal or hyped it up as one. As well as it being the Legion, while obvious, there is like a twist to it with time travel involved, which I thought was cool. The Legion also having access to heroes' powers like Martian Manhunters is so cool. And I'm interested to see if any of them have any other heroes' powers as well, or whether it is just Grodd. Like, does anyone else on the team now have another hero's powers? That would be really interesting to find out, especially because it puts them a bit more of an even footing with the Justice League. I'm really excited for Waid's 6-part event series We Are Yesterday, which this is leading into, and I just love that the Legion are getting a comeback here and we get some classic superheroes versus supervillain stories. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.